So if you caught the crowning moment of the 74th Miss Universe, you probably saw Miss Mexico, Fátima Bosch in Bangkok, and it just looked, well, perfect. Pure high-stakes glamour.
Right. But what you didn't see, what was happening just behind the curtain, was the entire Miss Universe organization, basically, coming apart at the seams.
Actively unraveling.
Exactly. That victory came after weeks, honestly months, of just total unprecedented chaos. We're talking about the whole corporate structure just suffering a near-fatal collapse.
Yeah, and this isn't just, a few slip-ups on stage.
Not at all. We're dealing with serious allegations of corporate fraud, financial insolvency, high-level feuds ending in legal threats, and even judges quitting because they claimed the vote was rigged.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack all the source material, the court documents, the public statements, the investigative reports, and really figure out how this mix of financial collapse and internal warfare almost completely derailed one of the world's most famous competitions.
And to really get it, you have to start where all the trouble began, which is the corporate instability right at the very top.
Okay, so set the stage for us.
Well, the Miss Universe organization, or MUO, it's changed hands a few times. It went from Donald Trump to IMG, then Endeavor. But things really changed when Thai billionaire Anne Jakkaphong's company, JKN Global Group, bought it in October 2022.
And they basically bought a ticking time bomb.
That's a good way to put it, because within a year, that timer went off. JKN Global Group was suddenly facing this massive liquidity crisis.
And for anyone who's not familiar, liquidity just means having the actual cash on hand to pay your immediate bills.
And they didn't have it.
Yeah.
They ended up filing for bankruptcy in Thailand, and this is the big one. They missed a deadline to repay bonds worth about $12 million.
Wow.
And missing a bond repayment isn't like being late on a credit card bill. It's a huge public red flag. It tells the entire financial world and all your partners that you are in serious, serious trouble.
And the problems weren't just about debt, right?
No, not even close. At the same time, JKN gets hit with a 1 billion Thai baht lawsuit. That's roughly, 27 million US dollars?
Filed by who?
A company called TCJ Social Media Group. And the lawsuit accused JKN of embezzlement connected to this project called the Miss Universe coin, or MU coin.
So fraud allegations.
Yes, alleging the company totally misled the public about the coin and its financial backing. So now you have the owner of Miss Universe facing bankruptcy and fraud allegations. It's an existential crisis.
So how do they try to stop the bleeding?
They tried to sell off a piece of the company. JKN sold a 50% stake in the MUO to a company called Legacy Holdings Group out of Mexico. It's run by a man named Raúl Rocha Cantú.
And this is where the story takes another really dark turn, because the financial problems, they sort of get traded for a massive integrity problem. Who is Raúl Rocha Cantú?
Well, the sources are clear on this. He's the owner of a casino in Mexico where 52 people died in a really horrific arson attack.
An attack that was linked to the Las Zetas cartel.
One of the most notorious and violent cartels. Now, regardless of his direct involvement in that specific crime, that association alone is it's devastating for the brand's image.
Of course. I mean, the MUO markets itself as being all about women's empowerment, integrity, social good.
And suddenly you have a 50% owner who is publicly associated with a mass casualty event linked to an incredibly violent criminal organization. It just completely undermines the entire aspirational message of the brand.
It's an unbelievable contradiction.
Yeah.
And it seems like that instability, it didn't just stay in the boardroom, it infected the whole organization.
It did. When the new ownership moved the headquarters to Thailand, the sources talk about this intense clash of management styles. Almost all of the longtime staff, people who had been there for years, either quit or were asked to leave.
Which sort of paved the way for this huge public feud.
The biggest one, yeah, involving Paula Sugart. She was the president of Miss Universe for 23 years. I mean, she was the steady hand, the one who pushed for all the modern inclusive changes, like allowing married and transgender contestants.
And she resigned in November 2023, and she was planning to go quietly, right?
That was the plan.
Yeah.
But then the owner, Anne Jakkaphong, starts making these public comments suggesting Sugart was corrupt, implying that for years she took money under the table to guarantee certain contestants would place high.
Wow. So Sugart had to respond.
She had no choice. She came out and publicly called the statements false and outrageous comments. And she made a great point. She said it wasn't just about her reputation.
Right, it was about the winners.
Exactly. She said it discredits the women who have won the Miss Universe crown by implying their titles were bought and not earned by merit.
And she didn't stop there.
No, she announced her intent to sue Jakkaphong in Thailand. And you have to think, when the current owner is publicly accusing the former longtime president of bribery, how can anyone believe the pageant is a fair competition anymore?
It just creates this cloud of distrust. And that distrust was put to the test almost immediately by the contestants themselves. Specifically by the woman who, ironically, would end up winning the whole thing, Miss Mexico, Fátima Bosch.
Yes, this drama kicked off super early in the competition. It was during a live-streamed orientation ceremony on November 4th. Miss Mexico had this very public, very tense confrontation with the pageant's Thai director, a man named Nawat Itzaragrusil.
What was the conflict about?
It was about promotional duties. Itzaragrusil was apparently angry that Bosch wasn't participating in some local promotional events. And according to the sources, he called her a dumbhead on the live stream when she turned down a photo shoot.
On a live stream?
On a live stream. And Bosch's response was just immediate and powerful. She stormed out.
Just walked out.
She did. And she told reporters this line that just went viral everywhere. She said, "If it takes away your dignity, you need to go."
And then what happened next was just incredible.
The other contestants showed this amazing solidarity. The reigning Miss Universe, Victoria Kjærsilvig from Denmark, she walked out right behind her.
Followed by several others.
Yes. And that moment, the reigning queen walking out with the future queen, that was maybe the most authentic display of empowerment the pageant saw all year, and it was directed against its own management.
The new president, Raúl Rocha Cantú, he had to step in.
He had to. He condemned Nawat's behavior, calling it public aggression and serious abuse. Nawat was reportedly restricted from the rest of the pageant.
And Nawat later gave a tearful apology, but he denied using that specific insult.
He did, but the damage was done. And what's interesting is that Miss Mexico's stand became instantly political back home. Her own national president, Claudia Sheinbaum, praised her, calling her an example of how we women should speak out.
So the very idea the pageant promotes, finding your voice, was used by the contestants to call out the organization's own toxic behavior.
Precisely. Which leads us straight into the next crisis that hit right before the final show, the allegations of rigging.
This is where things really started to shatter for people watching. Just days before the final night, 2 of the judges resigned.
And one was very vocal about why. A Lebanese-French musician named Omar Harfouch. He went public saying the entire competition was fixed.
Fixed how?
He claimed that 2 days before the final, this impromptu jury held a secret vote to pre-select 30 of the 136 contestants.
So he's saying the top 30 was already decided before the preliminary competition even really concluded.
That's his allegation. He said he couldn't stand there and legitimize a vote I never took part in, so he quit. And after the show, he even called the winner, Fátima Bosch, a fake winner.
And another judge pulled out too.
Yeah, the French football manager Claude Makélélé. He cited unforeseen personal reasons.
Now the MUO had a response to this.
They did. They denied it all.
Right.
They claimed Harfouch was just confused and had mistaken the judging for a separate social impact initiative called Beyond the Crown.
But in an environment that's already so full of suspicion.
The damage is done. Whether it's true or not, the accusation of a secret vote lands like a bomb. It makes the entire outcome feel suspect.
It sounds like the organization didn't do much to clear things up.
No, in fact, one anonymous contestant told reporters that when a group of them asked officials for clarity on the voting process, they were refused an answer. That lack of transparency just fueled the fire.
And then there was another judging issue, a separate one, right?
Yeah, a conflict of interest controversy. A replacement judge, Natalie Glebova, who was Miss Universe back in 2005, had actually been a coach for one of the contestants, Miss Canada.
Who made the top 30.
Who made the top 30. And while coaching is common, having your former coach on the judging panel, it just adds to that perception that the playing field isn't level.
So you've got the corporate collapse, the executive feuds, the contestant walkout, the judges resigning over rigging claims, and on top of all that, the event itself just seemed chaotic.
It was. The sources document some really painful moments. During the evening gown prelims, Miss Jamaica, Gabrielle Henry, took a terrible fall off the main stage.
She had to be taken to the hospital on a stretcher.
Yeah, thankfully no broken bones, but she was under observation. It was a scary moment.
Then Miss Great Britain, Danielle Latimer, she also tripped and fell.
Right. And then you had Miss Chile in a mall who had to apologize for a really controversial TikTok video where she appeared to be mimicking snorting white powder.
It's just one thing after another, a sense of complete disarray.
And if you zoom out even further, the geopolitical tensions were running incredibly high, reflecting all this global conflict on one stage. And we should report on this impartially.
Of course.
The first ever Miss Palestine, Nadine Ayoub, wore this powerful gown featuring the Dome of the Rock.
And Miss Israel, Melanie Shiraz, said she was getting death threats after a video clip went viral.
Yeah, a clip she said was misleadingly edited to look like she was giving Miss Palestine side-eye. The real-world politics were just impossible to escape.
And it wasn't just limited to that conflict.
No. The winner of Miss Teen Cambodia actually used her speech to accuse Thailand of starting violent border clashes. The whole event was a microcosm of global tension, all happening inside this failing organization.
And yet, despite the corporate meltdowns, the legal fights, the walkouts, the rigging claims, the show did go on. Miss Mexico, Fátima Bosch, the same woman who stood up to that director, was crowned the 74th Miss Universe.
She won the crown, yes, but the chaos has already done deep, measurable damage to the brand's global structure. And the best example of this comes from the Miss India organization, the MIO.
Which is a huge, long-standing partner for Miss Universe.
Massive. And this year, the MIO completely abstained from even pitching for the license. They just sat it out.
And what were their reasons?
They pointed to everything we've been talking about, the background of uncertainty, the financial investigation into the JKN group, and a total lack of transparency with their longtime partners.
That's a huge vote of no confidence.
It is. The MIO said they were committed to the traditional MUO values and they hoped JKN would recover. But it shows that for major partners, the financial and integrity risks are now just too high.
So when you step back, you really have these two stories running side by side. On one hand, you have the TV broadcast celebrating female empowerment and dignity. And on the other, you have a masterclass in how an organization falls apart. A $12 million bond default, the owner facing fraud allegations, judges quitting.
And you have an organization that claims it's all about women's voices, but its own eventual winner had to publicly demand respect from management. And its former president of 2 decades had to threaten a lawsuit to defend her own name. The internal reality just completely canceled out the external message.
Which really leaves you with this final provocative thought. Given that all this chaos, all of it, stems from financial collapse and leadership conflicts, I mean, how effectively can any global brand really promote these aspirational values like empowerment when its own foundation is in a state of public catastrophic collapse?
What happens to the value of that crown when the business reality clashes so violently with the brand's identity? When the organization itself is seen as a source of corruption and disrespect, how long before everyone else, the partners, the contestants, decides the risk to their own integrity just isn't worth being in the spotlight? That's the real cost of this entire incredible cycle.